Hello all, welcome back to the session. Let's wait for 1 or 2 minutes and then we'll start the session. Let's give some time for other folks to join. Meanwhile, let me share my screen and let me get set it up ready. Sorry guys, somehow it got disconnected. Okay, let's give 1 more minute and let's see if people joins. If not, we'll start it up. Just allow me a minute. I'll be back. I'll just grab some water and be back. Just give me a second. Hello all. Yeah, let's start the session for today. We are almost like 5 minutes past. Almost 6 minutes are past. So let's get started. Just a small recap what we did yesterday. So yesterday we had some little bit interactive session. Like say we happened to introduce ourselves, and then I gave my experience, and then I showed you like say what are the different types of applications available for a mobile environment. Okay, and we also saw a little example of what is Play Store, App Store to be more basic if someone is new to it. So, which will be quite helpful actually for some new people. And yep, these are the things that we have seen it so far actually. And what is emulator simulator? We have seen it, and there were a few answers from your side. So it was quite interesting. Yeah, thanks for that. And also like hybrid application, we have seen it. What is it and why to choose it? And then we were into the prerequisites session. So before we go ahead, like any doubts, anything so far till now with you, like with it might be with respect to anything. So maybe the syllabus perspective or anything, admin perspective or anything I can guide you. So kindly let me know if something is there.
I have a question
Yes, please.
like
Yeah.
this mobile apps. Could you
Mhm.
please tell what is a tech stack they use, in developing the mobile apps, the front end and the back end?
Yes. So for the front end, so I think yesterday we discussed it, but let me get it. Yeah. This is the one I would say. For iOS, like it's going to be the programming language is Flutter or Swift. And if Flutter is used, so basically it can develop application both on iOS and Android. So it's a one-time operation. And the backend, most probably they use their own either Node.js or any servers they use it up. Okay, it depends on them. But the programming language is sticking on to Flutter or Swift for iOS, and Android is going to be Java or Kotlin. They stick onto it. So these are the two programming languages. And backend, mostly it's like a REST API. They use it up, which they get. It can be anything, I would say. So it can be a node, it can be normal microservices, it can be anything actually. Mostly like for Java, it's going to be Java or Kotlin is going to be like REST assured, I would say. But iOS also they can use the REST assured. So it's possible, I would say it. Okay, so this, I believe this answers your question.
Yeah.
Okay, so any other question before we start? Okay, so I believe like no questions. So let's start it, kick started for today. Okay, so I hope you saw about the what is it? The syllabus as well. In case if you didn't see it, it's attached over here in our WhatsApp group. So just have a quick look at it actually. So what we'll be doing it before we proceed on to the APM architecture and few of the practical things. Okay. So we teach, like say, or we start with the APM end to end actually with the real time projects, which include CI/CD integration and all those stuffs actually. And we deal only with the latest ones. That means W3C WebDriver instances we use it. We don't go to the backward, like say one APM one version or two version, because those things now no one uses it up. Okay. And when we come to the syllabus perspective, so you can see like yesterday we had an introduction, but we didn't see the architecture. So soon we'll be seeing it up. And then like say I would do the Java part, the coding part actually. So over here in our group is anyone like say a non-programmer or a manual testers or any other part? Maybe someone is there.
Yes, me.
Okay, that's good. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Then I would say like this is for you actually. So for all non-programmers, like say we have always been having a group actually. So for non-programmers, we have this perspective like we teach the programming and then we move ahead with the APM. So why we teach the Java is like in any interviews or anywhere you go, right? So technically they'll be first asking you um, the programmatical questions like say what is what and some scenarios and stuffs. So everything they'll be asking into you. So that's the reason we have this oops concept and core Java. So we don't go very deep into it, but what is required for our automation, we do it up. But that should be very well sufficient, I would say. Okay. So this is for you, whoever like want to brush it up, the Java part, or whoever wants to learn the Java part. This is the topic that we deal about it. Okay. And then comes the APM setup, which is quite interesting one actually. Okay, so whether it's going to be a Mac or a Windows laptop, it doesn't matter. So we do the APM setups as well. Okay, so it's like this would consume a little bit time, I would say, like because like each person has their own individual laptops, so they might have their own separate configurations. So and it's like a pretty critical part if you didn't do the setup properly. So obviously, when we try to code, you will be facing a lot of issues. So this setup is a very crucial part. Okay, and but it's an easy one. Okay, so but it needs to be a little cautious one. Yes. And then we have the first code in your APM. So we are going to write the first code, whether it's an Android or Android or iOS. We write the first code to make you more flexible. Okay, or to make you more comfortable. We use this session. Okay, so it will be like a hands-on session for both of us, you and me. So I'll give some timers so that you need to do that stuff actually. So it's not only like purely I'm going to do it. So there needs to be some involvement from your side. Okay, so it's like a two-way process, I would say, because that will be helpful for both of us. Okay, so you can learn something at the go, and you can also like do something instead of just listening. You can participate as well, but it's not a hard and fast rule. So, but yeah, we can give it a try. And then we have what are the actions that we are going to do in our APM. So like say we are going to do the wait times, what are the actions, key press, drag and drop, touch action, and screenshots, alerts handling, switches, web automation in the sense, don't mistake it as something like Chrome browser. We are going to do something Chrome within the mobile app. Okay, so and also like say UI automator, we are going to do about it and how it works. And then comes your biggest part, the iOS. So iOS is a quite complex, but a easy one actually. So the steps are quite long, but it can be a little lengthy process, I would say. Okay, how to configure it, how to do it, we'll be checking it. But for this, I would recommend like whoever has a Mac, they can be doing it. But if you don't have a Mac, for Windows user, I have a workaround. So we have some free cloud environments available, free source cloud environments available that you can set it up. So I'll be teaching that also. Okay, so and then the framework test ng, and then we have the Cucumber. So Cucumber is most widely used nowadays. So we'll focus more into the Cucumber part, how to do it, and then we'll see the design patterns, page object model and stuff, and also the build tool, the Maven, how to do it. So this will not be a separate topic, I would say, but as and when we learn the framework, these concepts will be covered. Okay, and then finally we have the Jenkins part. Okay, I think there is a missing thing over here, like say Git. Okay, so there is a GitHub Actions also available, so we'll be teaching that as well. Okay, so how to run it from the GitHub. Okay, we will be teaching it, and Jenkins as well, how to use it up. Okay, and then you get a good certificate which you can use it for your professional career. Okay, so I would say I would ask you now, what is would be your expectation? So do you expect more in this, or how is it? Because this is what they our industry we are doing it, but how you want it? Let me know now. That's from your side. I think yesterday someone asked about the MCP. So MCP is a different topic altogether. So it's not covered in this actually as a topic. but it's like more of a agentic AI actually. So some suggestions and stuffs actually it will do. So we have totally a different, I think let me check it. I don't know like whether they have it or not, but yeah, we'll be introducing something soon. I would say if they didn't have it, MCPs, which is quite famous for testing point of view. Okay, and is anyone using any MCPs in your current project by any chance? Maybe anyone? Yes, no. Anyone is using anything?
No,
Yeah.
I am not using it. But I have one
Uh huh.
question
Yeah.
about
Yes,
so
please.
yeah, are we going to like use any AI plugins or to find locators nowadays? People are asking how you are integrating AI with the existing in the existing
Mhm.
framework. Like I heard about Helium WebDriver
Healing. Yeah, healing.
healing or
Mhm.
any locator like any plugins AI plugins that we can use it to uh, figure out like flakiness or something like that. Uh, Instead
Got
of
it. Mhm.
MCP, people are
Mhm.
like nowadays looking for something, some AI external, not tool, mainly I think plugins itself, like how you are
Mhm.
integrating AI in your existing flow so that you will make your life easier in finding some flakiness or locators or any other reason like that will make your life
Mhm.
easy. So, is there anything we can do?
Uh, I'll check on that actually, but yes, we do have it actually.
Mm-hmm.
But plugins, I don't think so. We have it, but we can build our own self-healing. We
Mm-hmm.
call it as a self-healing test
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
cases,
yeah, self-healing.
where
Yeah,
like
this is.
say if a locator goes wrong, so it will get it from the specific DOM structure, and
Yeah,
then it
yeah,
will be
yeah.
helping us. So that is possible actually, but we have not yet included that AI part. The reason is like say it's going to be a completely different skill set altogether. That is the reason. So we need to use something called an open AI, and then we need to create a bot and which will be suggesting us. But
Mm-hmm.
we have not included that's for a reason. Why? Because uh, currently there is a lot of AI available, and most of
Yeah.
the organization are not supporting any plugins which are like official.
Mm, okay, okay.
It should be either from a specific official channel, like say something like if it's a selenium, so lips should give some that particular API. So something like that,
Mm.
it's not yet official, so that's the reason we have not included it, but we can do that customization without using the what to say, the extensions.
Mm, okay,
That
okay.
is the
Yeah, that
reason,
would
yeah.
be great. Only thing is like
Hmm.
if you go for any interview, they are like, how you are using
Hmm.
AI? How did you integrate? Like not about MCP, but
No,
something
but
like
generally,
what you are
yeah.
in existing framework. If you can introduce something, did you learn anything? Something like they are keep on asking. So I even gave
Hmm.
answer the same helium or self healing, something like that. They were
Hmm.
not convinced. That's why I asked you like, if is there anything else available? I'm not sure what to
Hmm.
tell.
Actually, we have it actually, to be frank, but to use it inside our APM, so it's like sometimes it's a license based. That is the problem.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
say
That's
if
right.
you
Right.
see like say Browser Stack or Apply
Mm,
Tools or Sauce Lab, they have their own self-healing test cases. But in order to
mm,
purchase it, like it's like say you need to provide some commercials. That is
right.
a
Right.
problem.
But
But mhm.
our
Yeah,
companies
yeah,
are
yeah.
doing it like any other companies. Like, are they willing to pay for such AI,
Mhm.
like any new AI tools for QAs, like testing or test rigor, or even many others? So, our companies are willing to use those tools, or they are okay with these open source tools and they are still working on them?
Actually, they are doing like even if you consider my company, right? I work with
Mm-hmm.
UBS. The thing is like they are okay with the open source tool, but the thing is like they want some part of the AI integrated to the open source tool. So that part which
Yeah,
they
yeah.
want is like say agentic AI.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
agentic AI is something like say, if something goes wrong in your script, okay, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe you're sitting, you're doing other works or something, the agentic AI will suggest what the error is and how to fix it. So that type of QA stuff they are looking into it. Not
Okay.
exactly to fix the error, but to give a suggestion like what can be used to
Mm-hmm.
fix it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that
Okay.
type of items they are expecting. But
Okay.
and the thing is like they don't want to spend too much on the QA part,
Mm.
because
Mm.
already like almost all the organizations, if you see, they have the co-pilots or chat GPTs available with
Yeah.
them. That's again a license. So that
Mm.
API key they can use it and try to integrate it with our QA process, so that that error whatever comes we send it to the LLM, and the LLM will process it, will give the fix for us.
Mm. Okay.
So that way they are trying to utilize it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. To implement such things, it will take time and also, right?
Yeah, exactly.
In the
It's
yeah.
I would say it doesn't take much time, but
Mhm.
the skill set for that is totally different.
Yeah.
That is
That's
the
what I
problem.
meant. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because we are into like Java, and if
Mm.
LLM needs to be included, then we need to go with the Python, and then we need to
Mm.
have a open whatever the LLM that we are using, whether it's a Claude or ChatGPT or
Mhm.
Copilot, we need to have the API key. So if that
Yeah.
API
Yeah.
key is there, we can send that particular error to it and it will receive it back. So that is
Mm.
one thing. And another thing that we can use it is like say to analyze the report. Like say you
Mhm.
ran the automation, so the
Mhm.
report is available. So your LLM should you upload the report to the LLM and ask it to
Mm.
analyze the errors,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it
I
will
have
come
an
up
idea.
with the solution for it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
So that way we can use the AI. Companies are ready to spend for the key, API key, but not for the tool
Mm.
itself. That's the problem.
Mm. Okay. 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 Yeah. Got it.
Because, yeah. So maybe let me see if time permits, I can show you something on that. If not, I can give you the project. You can sample project like how a self-healing locator will work. Okay, a small
Okay.
project I can give it. Maybe you can run through it. But it's a separate skill set. I'll try to cover as much as possible on that perspective, so that at least you'll get an idea. Maybe
Get an
while
idea. Yeah.
cracking, yeah, cracking the interviews or something, you can use it up.
Okay, great. Thank you. By the
Yeah,
way, I
sure.
have also worked in UBS Poland for the last 7 years.
Oh, UBS
Yeah, I
Poland. Oh my
recently.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's good
Okay.
to meet you. Yeah. So
Yeah,
now you are
same.
located in India or a different part of the
No,
world?
I came to California. So
Ah,
yeah, I'm
okay,
looking
okay.
for it. Yeah,
Good. No, that's nice. Nice to meet you as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
same here.
Yeah. And I know you know about the UBS culture. They usually don't get any new tools that immediately, unless and until if it's
Yeah,
like everyone has used and exhausted, then only it comes back actually. So they are that type
exactly.
of players. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Yes. Thanks. So any other
Thank you.
questions? Anything? Just give me. Yep. Sorry about it. Had a bad throat. Okay, so let's continue with it then. So this is the syllabus that we'll be dealing about. That was a quick review. Okay, so we'll be seeing this one. And now coming back to the slides, like what are the prerequisites, I would tell. So as you know, like say the prerequisites include like say the Java part, the Selenium is optional. We don't use the complete Selenium itself, but few parts of Selenium we borrow it and use it inside the Android and iOS. And then the Android SDK, Android Studio setup, Xcode, and this is only for Mac. And then Node.js and npm that we need to install it, and IntelliJ we use it up for our scripting perspective. Okay, so this is the prerequisite we need to have. So Java will be teaching and rest other stuffs we'll be seeing it one by one at a time. Okay, so that's how it works. And this is about the Appium. So we discussed it yesterday, like it's an open source tool and it's an automation framework. And mobile automation is now widely used across everywhere because the apps are quite popular. Whether it's an Android app or an iOS app, all these apps are quite popular in industry, so people are taking it much serious actually for testing these apps. Even though like yesterday we saw a list of commercial and open source tool and APM stands out. Why? Because it can automate anything. Pretty simple. Okay, and this is the official quick start guide from the APM. Okay, so let me paste it over here. So this is a 2.9 actually, but now 3.1, that's the latest version, I would say. Okay, so did anyone try installing two version over here by any chance? Anyone, did you guys install two version? APM 2 version? Okay, because the reason why I asked this, like say from 2 to 3, if you try to directly upgrade it, there you'll face some issues. That's the reason. Okay, so I'll tell you that also briefly, but we'll be straightforwardly installing the 3 version, so it should be still fine. Okay, so just pinged you, so that's the official website. So any updates we get, that's always from there. Okay, don't trust other websites, I would say, because there is a lot of scams, all those things going on, which is always misleading. And if you see, this is the one I would say, I think now it's clear. So basically, it's an open source tool, advantages of APM. Okay, and it provides support for native, hybrid, and web browser mobile and programming languages Java, Python, C Sharp, JavaScript, and sometimes even I see TypeScript as well. I don't know how, or I've not used it before, so I don't know even TypeScript supports it. It's quite interesting because JavaScript, sorry, the TypeScript is basically something which is on top of JavaScript. So obviously there is a support, and there is an always a continuous integration, Jenkins available, and if emulator, simulator, real device, and all the cloud-based automation it supports. Okay, so mostly AWS, device farm, browser stack, sauce lab, Azure, all these environment relates to something called your devices, because nowadays what happened is like getting a physical device is very cost. Okay, that means assume a scenario, even some time back, few weeks back I got an email like if someone has an iPhone Air, they need it for testing. Okay, so that means like say every new device that comes in, okay, so that means it's not on the same form factor, it's in a different form factor, different resolution. So all these things, if you need to test it, like if your company has budget they can buy it, but assume a scenario if they don't have budget, that means like say you are sitting in India and you want to test something, a phone which is not released in India. So in those use cases and all, this emulator, simulator, and cloud platforms will be of very useful. Okay, so they give you the device, they rent you the device, you can rent it, you can do all your testing. Rent it in the sense you can rent it for automation, rent it for manual testing, you can do anything over there. So, but there is again a budget involved. Okay, it's not free actually, so it's a budget involved, but doing that for a certain period of time is still okay for the organizations. they do it up. Instead of owning it completely, they just do it. It's like a fire and forget. Okay, so they do it something like that. So we'll also try to integrate it with the source lab actually. So you can try to run your scripts in the source lab. It will generate the reports, all those things. We'll be seeing it up, and we'll see whatever is limited to the open source, because license based we don't use it. Okay, so we'll be checking that one. And how many of you heard about like espresso? So it's available over here. Espresso. Anyone heard about espresso? Okay, no problem. So espresso is something like, say, it's not a UI based testing. It's like, say, a partial UI based. So it mostly deals with similar to that of your gray box testing. That means like, say, a developer develops the code and he'll give the code base to you, and you're going to test the code by running it from the developer's environment itself. So they again, um, the app will open, it will do all the click, all the actions, everything it will be doing it, but it's not doing it on a real device. It will be doing it on a developer's environment, both the XUI test and the Espresso. It is something like, say, you need the developer's code to run these things. So, but whatever we are going to do as a APM is like, say, it's something like a UI testing we are going to do. So it doesn't deal with the developer's code directly. So this again can be a disadvantage. You can note it down. It's something a disadvantage for APM, where the component or the developer based testing cannot be done using APM. So it can be done with either Espresso or XUI test, depending upon the respective platforms. Okay. And how many of you also have seen the developer writing unit tests by any chance? Anyone seen developer writing a unit test? Anyone so far? Okay, the reason is like, say, that unit test only sometimes is covered as part of XUI test and Espresso. Okay, so that is the reason. And that's the reason the last point, APM does not work with the application code directly, but with the application itself. So if it's an Android APK file, Android, whether it's an emulator or a real device, it will be the APK file. And if it's an iOS, a real device, IPA file format, and a .zip for the simulator. And how does it work technically? Okay, so let's see it up. How does it work? Let me show it in a representation way. So this is how it works. So you write your automation code. Okay, and that automation code we are going to use it using your Java. So our code goes through here and hits the APM server. Okay, and we have something called a mobile JSON wire protocol, I would say. Maybe why is it doing like this? Yeah, so it uses a mobile wire JSON protocol over here. Okay, and that mobile wire JSON protocol will convert the server properties, and based on the server properties it will divide it into either your Android device or your iOS device. And whether it's an Android and iOS device, it depends upon two factors, which is divided into ADB and WebDriver agent. And ADB we call it technically as Android debug bridge. Okay, so what is Android debug bridge is something like, say, it will ensure the connection to the Android device. Okay, and there is something called your web driver agent. Don't mistake it as AI agents, is totally different. Web driver agent is something like, say, it ensures the connection between the iOS device and the server. So only these two stuffs, if it is available, you will never have any connections issue. But if any one of this is missing, then you will have the connection issue to your device. ADB is for your Android and WebDriver agent is for your iOS. That is the difference. Okay. So this is the architecture, I would say. Okay, and how it functions. And this Appium server, so this is technically from your Node.js. It works from your Node.js. Okay, and usually the command that we use is like, say, just Appium. That's it. CMD is like, say, the command is Appium. That's all. Okay, no start Appium, no stop Appium, nothing. Just Appium. The server will start. So this will have all the session details what you have did so far. And based upon this mobile JSON wire protocol, it receives the signal, and based on that, it will divert to ADB for Android and WebDriver for your iOS. Okay. And whether the device is connected or not connected, the server will receive the call and it will be diverted back to your automation code for the errors. Okay. So any doubt here so far? So I'll send you this diagram shortly. Okay, so that you can make use of it. So this is basically the architecture, I would say, how it works, the working architecture. Okay, so this is how the process it goes about. Let me quickly send it to you before I forget it. So in your interviews, they might ask you, how does this work? The keywords will be mobile JSON wire protocol, ADB, WebDriver agent, all these things. There might be a question also like, what is ADB, what is WebDriver agent? So you should be in a position to tell it up. So that's why I explained to you over here. Okay, so it's very crucial part because some people, like, say, even like couple of years back, I got an interview. They asked me how they didn't ask me anything technical. Just like, say, they just asked, like, say, give me how an APM works. Pretty simple. Okay, so we need to tell about the WebDriver agent, ADB, mobile JSON wire protocol, what is an APM server, and then the automation code itself. Okay, so it's quite important. So just have this pretty handy, I would say. Okay, and let me send these files to you directly. Okay, just give me a second. I can quickly drop it over here. So any doubts here so far till now? Maybe let's have a quick round. Okay, no doubts. Okay, that's good. Okay, pretty good. I hope it's clear for now. Let's get back to the slide where we started it. So this is what I've explained over here. I'll drop you the slide as well. Sorry about it. Yesterday I forgot it. So I'll just give a drop on the slide lately. Okay. So it explains it. So APM is HTTP server written in Node.js that exposes the REST APIs, and the client communicates with the APM server using the REST API, and it's handled by your mobile JSON wire protocol. So this is nothing big technical. It's just a JSON. That's it. Okay, they call it as a mobile JSON wire protocol, but the format is like say a JSON. And for iOS, we need a WebDriver agent, I would say. And also for an Android, we require the APM settings, which I'll be showing it to you shortly, a short demo. Okay, how it works. And initially it happens through APM session created, and interaction between the Android or iOS is happened with the help of desired capabilities. But now the desired capabilities has quite changed to options. Okay, that's what I've written over here. Nowadays, we call the capabilities as XUI test options for iOS and UI automator 2 options for Android. And this is how the transmission goes about. It's pretty simple. So you have your client library, Java client library. Now it's like 10 version available. So I written a couple of months back. So that's why it's 9. And the REST API APM server using the mobile JSON wire protocol. The APM server detects the device, whether it's an emulator or a real device, and the commands used by bootstrap.jar in Android, and converts it into an understandable format as a UI automator. So your ADB is nothing but your UI automator. So whatever the commands that are sent from the server, the UI automator needs to understand it and respond it back to the server. Pretty simple. So this is the flow it works. Android driver, APM server, the device, and from the device, the APM server to the Android driver. The same thing is existing in iOS as well, but with a slight change. We call it as a WebDriver agent dot app. Okay, or okay, I mean it's not a dot, I would say. Maybe it's not a dot, just an app. WebDriver app will be available, and WebDriver agent converts to iOS device, which is understandable by using XUI test, and from the device to the server using WebDriver agent, and the WebDriver agent gives it back to the APM server to the client. This is how the function goes about. Okay, so this you need to understand it clearly. Okay, so I'll show it practically as well, so no issues. We'll have some practical sessions as well today, maybe 5-10 minutes, and then we'll jump on. And these are the installation things that we need to do it as an initial one. Without this, the APM will not work. And this is about your ADB. So ADB devices. So ADB is like say you have a list of commands. So quite useful command. So anyone try to access your device using ADB commands before? Did anyone try to access your ADB device? Anyone? Any chance? Okay, so it's such a powerful tool in Android. Okay, so using that ADB command itself, you can reset your phone. You can even boot the phone, reboot the phone. You can do anything. It's very powerful. So before executing anything on the Android device, your personal device, I would say be more cautious because it even can reset your device in a flash of a second. Okay, so that's the reason. Okay, it's such a powerful tool, I would say. Okay, just a second. Yeah. Okay, so this is how it is. We'll see an elaborated one, but just these things are for your interests actually. And then finally we have the integration. So we need to have some GitHub concepts. Okay, for GitHub topics, I would be requiring you to create your own GitHub accounts. Okay, I'll show it to you and I can add you as a contributor to one of my organizations and you can play around over there actually. So pushing, pulling everything. So in your organization, do you use any like CI/CD or like say a repository, anything you use it up? Maybe you can ping it, like say whether you use a GitHub or any other tool by any chance. Maybe anyone? Yes, no, GitHub, SVN, GitLab, Circle CI or Azure. Anyone?
Yeah, we used to use GitLab.
GitLab.
Uh,
Okay.
s-
Ah,
yeah,
that's a very good tool actually.
yeah.
Very good one. So anyone else maybe? Okay, that's fine. So whatever tool you use, it's fine actually, but we have this GitHub through which we can do something. We have something called a GitHub Actions. So how in a GitLab you have a CI/CD, right? So similar to that, your GitHub also has GitHub Actions. We will show you how to use it actually, as it's quite interesting part, I would say, like. When compared to Azure or GitLab, right? So even GitLab is quite interesting. So it's good one, I would say. So similar lines, we have the GitHub, which is basically an open source. So that's the reason we use this one. So you can create your account. You can contribute to my projects, I would say, like which would be quite interesting. And how to schedule a jobs in Jenkins, all those things we'll be checking it out. Okay, and yeah, so we are almost at the end of the session, so let's have some practicals. Okay, so just a second. So from the tooling perspective, like we need to have these are the toolings. So for Windows users, so you need the Android Studio, I would say. Okay, so let me open the Android Studio. Okay, so where you can get this Android Studio, let me quickly show it to you. So you can go to Google and then search for Android Studio, search it, and then you have this Android developer tool. Okay, link I would say, and you have the Android Studio. So when you log in itself, it will try to understand which machine you're trying to log in from. Like as you can see it over here, mine is an Apple. So once I click this checkbox, you can see which version. So if you're using a Mac, so basically there is a two versions. If you go to about this Mac, you can see M1. So M1 is always an Apple Silicon. So I will go with the Apple chip. So Intel is something like you get it as an Intel. So i5 or i7 processor in a Mac. So this is the link. So I would recommend you to install this part. Okay, it's just a double clicks. That's it. Not a complex one, I would say. And why we use this Android Studio specifically? So first thing, we are not going to do or develop any apps. We are just going to use this for your emulators and also connect. real devices. I've also seen like some people, like a few students use what is that one, hypervisor or something? Is anyone using hypervisors to connect your device to your laptop to view it? Okay, no problem. So we can use that way as well. So this is how it is there. So we have emulators and connect the real devices to view and nothing much. So only for this we use the Android Studio and also basically install the SDK. So SDK is nothing but your software development kit. So what is software development kit? So I have my Android Studio installed as you can see. So what is SDK? We'll have a quick look. We go to the settings at the top as you can see it, and there is SDK manager. Click on it, and this is the place where it will be installed. And SDK is nothing but software development kit. And any idea, any guess, like what are these things? What are these things, these checkboxes? Any idea from anyone?
Android OS version.
Exactly, these are the Android OS versions. So we call it like say Android 15, 16. Before that, I think 13 Tiramisu and 12 Android SRQ, Pi, Oreo, all these things we call it with some name. But for a developer, it's not a name. They call it as an Android API. And these are the API levels. That means Android 36 is represents your Android 16, and Android 15 represents 35, and 14 represents 34. These are the things. And each software update will have some stability issues, so the revisions might be changed. So that's why it is 1, 2, 3, and it goes ahead. And the status is nothing but whether these packages or these SDKs installed in your machine or not. Okay. So, and I would say like don't install all of this, I would say, because each one will is around like 5 GB, 10 GB. Okay, depending upon the usage and the cache, it will increase it. So don't use all these or don't install all these things. Whichever the device you are going to test, check the Android level, only that one you install. Okay, only that one you install it up. Don't install all these things. Okay, as you can see, I didn't install any of these things. So I have an Android device with Android 15 and Android 16. So that's the reason I installed these two stuffs. Nothing more I would require. Okay. So this is about it. How to install when you run your installation setup for your Android Studio, it will ask for it. You can install it up. So I'll separately tell you about it. Okay, but this is how the SDK is available. An SDK tool. These are the individual tools available for Android. You can see my emulator is outdated. If I click it, I can give apply. So it will ask for an installation. You can see it over here. It's almost like 1.5 GB. Okay, just imagine. So and then it will try to install it. So always you need to update your Android emulator if you're planning to use your emulator for your testing. Okay, and emulator alone used for testing the application will always not be encouraged. It's better to do with one round of testing on a real device and check it. For automation, it's fine. Yes, I would tell. So you can see here also there is something. Yeah. So if you give apply, it will update it. Pretty simple. So always keep your SDKs updated. If not, it might result in some crash or something like that. Okay. And most probably like try to install this tomorrow. We'll try to play around with some emulators, and tomorrow we'll see the difference between emulator and simulator. How does it work and how we can and make use of it. Okay. So still we have 2 more minutes. Maybe I'll pause it for today. So let's have a quick Q&A, and also like in case if you're planning to enroll, okay, so please use these contact numbers. I think it is shared in WhatsApp as well. So any feedbacks, anything, please drop in. Actually, it will be really helpful. Okay, so let's have the Q&A. So any doubts, anything so far? One thing like I forgot to mention, like from the coding perspective, whatever we do in the session, it will be shared inside something like this as a GitHub. Okay, like I quite have a lot of GitHub repositories. So you need to share me your email ID, so then I can add it to you as a contributor and you can download it. Yeah. So you don't need to waste time in copy paste, just directly download, run it and check it, play around. So it will be like this. So all the documentation, everything, it will be available in GitHub for your lifetime, I would say. And you can follow my link actually over here for any updates over here. So this is my LinkedIn ID. You can follow it for any updates. Okay, so yep, that's all for today. So let's see some Q&A. Any doubts, anything so far till now? So tomorrow we'll be installing the Android Studio. We'll be working around with some emulators, play around with that. Okay, and yep, we'll proceed with that. Any doubts, anything so far till now? Okay, so if no doubts, like feel free to drop off, and thanks for attending the session, and I'll hope to see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.